Tran Deep steps into endless white void, feeling weightless yet grounded. Memories flicker around. Vast space reflects infinite echoes, past battles, friendships, betrayals, each image shining like stars. Soft surface beneath his feet ripples gently, responding to every movement, alive with cosmic energy. He whispers quietly, "Where am I?" Voice echoing across timeless corridors like ancient bells. A luminous sphere emerges, shifting shapes, glowing symbols flicker in forgotten primordial language. Sphere's message enters directly. You ended one cycle. Another awaits beyond understanding. Tran Deep closes eyes, recalling companions, teachers, enemies, countless steps on perilous journeys. Resolve hardens within, realizing power alone, no longer his true destination but awakening. "I choose to go further," he declares firmly, voice resonating across endless expanse. The sphere expands, forming radiant ring dissolving his accumulated layers of power. Instead of losing, he feels whole, lighter yet deeper, returning to pure origin. He stands reborn, teenage body but eyes carrying galaxies of experience and wisdom. Ocean of light stretches around, each droplet containing countless worlds and histories. Past, present, future coexist simultaneously, shimmering as intertwined possibilities. Multiple versions of himself appear, diverging fates, tyrant, saint, wanderer, unknown hermit. Sphere's message flows. You can choose any path, shape existence, define destiny. Tran Deep smiles softly. "I will not choose a path, I will create." He raises empty hand. Fingers glowing, weaving threads of intent into a blade. Sword of pure will forms, radiant arcs dancing like celestial brushstrokes across void. With each stroke he draws mountains, rivers, stars, birthing newborn universes. Free will, embedded within creations. No fixed destiny, endless self-determination. Distant voices sing, companions and foes alike, echoes of shared journeys. Their presence strengthens him, reminding all meetings left indelible marks. He continues drawing worlds, filling them with color, sound, possibility. But a shadow rises from deep, remnant darkness of his old self. Black energy coils, condensing into a darker Tran Deep wielding shadow blade. Power alone defines you. Shadow snarls, lunging forward with spiraling darkness. Blades clash midair, light and dark swirling, creating storms of raw intent. Instead of resisting, Tran Deep opens arms, letting darkness pierce his heart. Shadow trembles, breaking apart into shimmering droplets merging with ocean light. It reforms as young boy, furious eyes softening into recognition and smile. Boy dissolves, returning into Tran Deep's chest, completing forgotten fragment. Acceptance dawns, darkness integrated, past embraced, no aspect denied. Sphere's voice returns. You transcended yourself, earned power of creation. Corridor of endless light unfolds ahead, beckoning with uncharted mysteries. Tran Deep steps forward, sensing billions waiting, stories unwritten, ideas unborn. He glances back, worlds he created pulsating, growing without control. Trust blooms. He releases grip, allowing creations to evolve naturally. Feet leave surface, entering weightless corridor, surrounded by shifting visions. Future, heaven, hell, unknown galaxies flicker like paintings across infinite hall. No fear remains. He is beyond victory or defeat, embracing boundless learning. Wings of multicolored light unfold, not to fly but transcend limitation. Each color a facet, love, courage, friendship, growth, sorrow, forgiveness. Music hums through corridor, harmonizing with his heartbeat, cosmic symphony. I surpass heaven, he whispers, voice blending with shining currents. Words ripple across reality, resonating through unseen minds seeking freedom. He feels their answering whispers, billions touched by his passage. Ocean of potential swells, promising new beginnings beyond endings. Sword of will dissolves into countless sparks, seeds of future creation. Corridor widens, horizons folding inward, unveiling blank canvas of infinity. Tran Deep traces new glyphs, laying foundations for worlds yet unborn. He imprints freedom, curiosity, compassion, choice, seeds of unbounded growth. Darkness no longer enemy, but rich soil nurturing luminous roots. Time loops fold, past selves watching present self forge endless future. Stars bloom from fingertips, spiraling into galaxies, birthing civilizations. He laughs softly, joy pure, echoing like children playing across eternity. Corridor trembles, acknowledging new architect shaping infinite stage. Unseen beings whisper gratitude, their essences aligning with his vision. Layers of power reassemble not as armor but as flowing river. His heart pulses, each beat creating rhythm, guiding new universes. He senses LCCINT-LAN, distant yet connected through shared roots. Bonds transcend time, living as vibrations inside creative ocean. Their hopes fuel his designs, their memories color his universes. He walks calmly, merging personal destiny with collective evolution. Light corridor shifts into spiral staircase made of shimmering runes. Each step echoes like drum, summoning unseen possibilities. Higher he climbs, more transparent his form becomes. He becomes current itself, flowing, dissolving, reshaping eternally. All dualities vanish, creator in creation, seeker in path. He steps off staircase, entering spherical chamber of silence. Inside chamber, pulsating seed floats, core of absolute potential. Tran Deep reaches out, seed enters his chest, merging instantly. He feels countless hearts beating within, unity of existence. Chamber dissolves, revealing infinite night sky woven with golden threads. Threads vibrate as he touches, playing music older than stars. Every vibration births a myth, a dream, a new law. He weaves threads into cloak, wearing cosmos like second skin. Cloak grants no dominance but deeper understanding. He kneels, palms open, whispering silent vow of stewardship. Waves of gratitude surge from unseen realms, shimmering like rain. Corridor tilts, collapsing into single luminous point. He steps through point, emerging beyond concepts of place. No form, no time, only awareness, expanding infinitely. Yet he retains spark of individuality, anchor of compassion. Spark guides him, a compass, toward endless creation. He senses future disciples, dreamers, wanderers awaiting inspiration. Stories never end, he murmurs, sending ripple across void. Ripple blossoms into living library of songs, images, truths. Library floats freely, accessible to every consciousness. He smiles, relinquishing ownership, offering knowledge openly. Golden horizon dawns, brighter than 10,000 suns. Tran Deep walks toward it, steps carving luminous pathways. Pathways intertwine, forming vast mandala of interlinked choices. Each choice a door, each door a beginning. He opens all simultaneously, merging them into living flow. Flow becomes river, carrying him beyond comprehension. He dissolves, reappearing as countless sparks across multiverse. Sparks plant seeds, awakening creativity in countless beings. Everywhere minds lift, glimpse infinite potential, echoing his journey. In silent heart of infinity, Tran Deep smiles, stepping into unending dawn. Tran Deep opens his eyes, cosmic light flowing, sensing every whisper of the infinite universe. Space around him dissolves, revealing a shimmering path of stars weaving across endless skies. His heartbeat echoes like thunder, but his mind stays calm, anchored in timeless awareness. Memories flood back. Training fields, friends lost, battles fought, promises whispered under fading suns. He understands power is not destruction, but keeping his heart steady amidst cosmic storms. A glowing bridge appears, golden symbols forming under each step of his return journey. He walks slowly, every stride carrying the weight of galaxies and human dreams. The boundary breaks. Earthly scents rush in soil, flowers, wind like forgotten childhood. City gates rise before him, larger, brighter than any fortress from his old time. People stare at the stranger, sensing a quiet majesty flowing from his presence. Air vibrates with hidden energy. The world has grown richer, wilder, deeply alive. He wonders whether anyone still remembers his name after centuries have passed. Children run past, laughing. Their voices slice through his timeless, silent memories. He touches a great tree, roots spiraling like dragons, trunk engraved with ancient marks. Deep sword path carved there, glowing faintly, echo of his own legend. Visions unfold, disciples practicing, friends smiling, fading into rivers of time. He inhales deeply, grounding himself, feeling soil and sky in one single breath. News spreads, a white-robed figure, aura like heaven, walking ancient streets again. Scholars whisper, sect leaders gather, sensing a storm hidden behind calm waters. Invitations arrive from great sects, curious about the mysterious wanderer's true identity. He accepts one, stepping into the ornate gates of Heaven Mechanism Hall. A colossal statue stands inside his own face, carved from sacred stone. The young sect mistress bows, trembling. Have you truly returned, honored predecessor? He smiles gently, concealing truth, asking instead about current tides of power. She speaks of upheaval, new sects rising, old ones corrupted by greed. Some worship his teachings, others twist them for profit and domination. He listens without anger, eyes reflecting starlight and compassion mixed with resolve. Rumors fly about an immortal returned, holding the secret of endless life. Dark forces whisper, plotting to test him, hungry for forbidden power. He walks away at dusk, choosing silence over conflict for now. By a riverside, he meets young wanderers seeking a path beyond rigid sects. He senses their sincerity and hidden flames of unshaped potential. Under a twilight sky, he begins teaching them the new transcendent sword way. Lessons blend swordplay with meditation, imagination, freedom of heart. Students grow quickly, not only in strength but in luminous spirit. They see swords not as tools of death, but keys to inner skies. Rumors shift, a new order forming under the mysterious teacher's wing. He feels joy seeing their progress, as if planting seeds in fertile ground. Meanwhile, distant cult leaders feel threatened, tightening their shadowy alliances. Ancient prophecies speak of a battle when Heaven's Walker returns. Far away, a sealed entity awakens, sensing his aura once more. This creature once faced him eons ago, now wearing a mortal emperor's flesh. It swears to crush the one who transcended heaven and claim boundless creation. Storm clouds gather above cities, spiritual beasts restless in mountain lairs. He meditates on a cliff, hearing every heartbeat of the living world. Students train below, blades flashing, chants merging with the wind. He knows the coming war will test not only strength but ideals. Night after night, he teaches them courage, empathy, clarity of will. Old allies reappear, drawn by rumors, some cautious, some joyful. He journeys to remote plains, meeting descendants of LCCIN and TLAN. They bow deeply, eyes bright, carrying legends passed through generations. They protect small communities, honoring the old code he once taught. Seeing them, he feels time's circle closing yet opening anew. Their sincerity strengthens his resolve to protect the new era. Across the realm, banners rise, sects vying for dominance, ready to clash. He walks through marketplaces unseen, observing the lives he once fought for. Children practicing minor spells, merchants trading rare herbs, skyships drifting above. He smiles softly. Progress and peril always walk hand in hand. His students become symbols, inspiring those yearning for unshackled paths. Dark cult emissaries infiltrate towns, spreading lies about his true motives. He counters with deeds, not words, healing villagers, calming storms. Each action erodes fear, building quiet trust among common folk. A festival night arrives. Lanterns rise like small suns over the river. He stands aside watching, remembering simpler times before endless battles. Yet even here he senses the approaching shadow across the horizon. In a dream he meets his past self, exchanging silent understanding. You've come far, the memory says, but the hardest choice remains. He awakens with renewed clarity and an unshakable center. Dawn glows. His students gather for the final stage of training. They form circles, breathing as one, weaving sword-light patterns. Energy rises, forming a collective aura like a nascent sun. Watching them, he realizes the future no longer rests on his shoulders alone. Still, the awakening entity marches with armies, enslaving kings and sages. Rumors claim it wields a weapon forged from fallen stars. Allies across the realm prepare defenses, remembering old battles. He declines titles and crowns, walking as a simple traveler. Beneath his calm gaze, mountains whisper, rivers sing, winds pause briefly. He carves new runes into ancient stones, sealing weak points in reality. Old masters debate his methods, fearing change, yet intrigued by hope. His students secretly free prisoners, dismantling corrupt networks. More youths flock to him, seeking truth beyond sect politics. Nights spent under stars, teaching philosophy, sword dance, and silent focus. Days spent healing lands poisoned by war, restoring balance. Through service, his legend grows larger, yet gentler, like dawn expanding. On a high peak, he contemplates whether power can truly stay pure. He recalls his teachers, their struggles, their ultimate sacrifices. I'll forge a world where choice matters more than birth or strength. Students pledge unity, forging bonds deeper than blood or clan. Together they craft a new emblem, symbolizing freedom and clarity. News reaches them. The enemy's vanguard has crossed the outer provinces. He closes his eyes, sensing the distant surge of hostile energy. A hawk lands near, carrying a message of betrayal from within. He reads calmly, lips tightening but eyes serene as the sea. So it begins, he whispers, watching clouds gather like dark sails. He draws a single line in the sand, marking the future battlefield. Students stand behind him, silent but unwavering, eyes lit with courage. If this is the end, let it be a dawn for others. The wind rises, carrying distant drums, thunder rolling across unseen hills. He raises his sword, not to strike, but to bless his companions. Moonlight crowns them all, foreshadowing the epical clash, yet affirming their shared resolve. Tran Deep stands atop Vio Anhump Peak, clouds swirling below like a restless ocean tide. His silver hair dances in the fierce wind, eyes fixed on distant horizons of darkness. Below the mountain, countless followers gather, waiting anxiously for the destined confrontation to unfold soon. Whispers of ancient prophecies drift among the crowd, fueling hope and fear simultaneously within hearts. Tran Deep inhales deeply, recalling his first training here, forging determination against heavenly limits. Dark energy rises far away, signaling his ancient enemy's return through a corrupted emperor's vessel. The sky trembles as unnatural thunder rolls, heralding the coming clash between light and shadow. Tran Deep closes his eyes briefly, sensing disciples practicing the new sword path's rhythm. Those young swordsmen embody future freedom, beyond old rules, carrying his dream into unknown ages. LCCIN approaches behind, her steps measured, bearing urgent news from distant battlefront lines. Master, enemy forces have crossed the Celestial River, advancing rapidly toward this sacred mountain. Tran Deep nods calmly, speaking softly, "Hold your hearts firm, even if skies collapse tonight." War drums echo across valleys, shaking the mountain stones, merging with roaring ancient beasts emerging. Columns of light pierce heaven, connecting mortal realm with immortal sky, distorting reality itself here. Disciples exchange glances, their eyes burning despite fear, standing behind Tran Deep without hesitation. Trin House steps forward, the youngest disciple, determination burning like a hidden comet's fire. "We are ready to defend this era, even if our lives become the sword's price." Tran Deep raises one hand, silver aura expanding, enveloping mountain with protective radiant veil. Silence falls, wind halts. Even birds suspend flight, sensing immense energy of free sword. Beyond horizon, HCCGN's army marches, banners woven from nightmares, soaked in defeated souls. Within enemy camp, the Black Emperor sits on a throne of monstrous beast bones. His face twisted between human form and swirling void, eyes swallowing stars into endless abyss. "Tran Deep," he whispers, "today no heavenly law will save you from absolute annihilation." 12 demon generals kneel nearby, once prodigies, now enslaved warriors, bound to darkness eternally. Night deepens. Mountain winds carry distant screams of collapsing sects under enemy's conquest. Tran Deep touches the ancient Freedom Stone, awakening runes glowing with primordial sword essence. Glimmers rise, forming radiant characters, reflecting vows carved during dawn of original cultivation. "Without me, you remain the light," he tells disciples, voice echoing like mountain thunder. Raising his sword skyward, energy threads descend like celestial rivers coiling around luminous blade. Sky pauses. Time slows. Air vibrates under weight of infinite will and pure intent. Followers kneel, not in fear but in awe, sensing his untethered devotion to freedom. Night before battle, Tran Deep walks among tents, touching shoulders, blessing each young warrior. Firelight flickers across determined faces, shadows long, yet hearts burning brighter than falling stars. He remembers himself as a youth, clutching dreams beyond heavens, unburdened by era's weight. Looking upward, he sees a meteor blaze like a sword, omen of tomorrow's dawn. "Win or lose," he murmurs, "this old age ends. A new path must begin." Dawn arrives cloaked in fog. Enemy ranks surged like tidal waves from shattered dimensional rifts. Ground quakes, sky reddens. Monstrous creatures crawl forth, carrying banners soaked with despair and ruin. Tran Deep stands front line, white robe fluttering, sword humming with restrained cosmic resonance. Behind him, civilians huddle yet gaze, seeing their final hope standing unshaken before darkness. A trumpet of war screams, splitting clouds, summoning ancient forces hidden beyond mortal comprehension. Light and dark collide above, ripping seams of space, forming chaotic storms of power. Trandeep releases a crescent sword beam, annihilating the first wave of enemy soldiers. Shadows evaporate but fissures open behind them, vomiting colossal beasts from forgotten infernal worlds. Disciples unleash transcendent sword path, dazzling strikes bending air, pushing darkness back stepwise. Sparks shower. Mountainsides crack. Their unity forms radiant web shielding the summit against invasion. Trandeep watches proud, seeing their growth beyond his own early limitations. True freedom manifest. He leaps skyward, standing upon a sword pillar of light, scanning battlefield's sprawling devastation. Far away, he sees Black Emperor riding seven-headed beasts, dark crown glowing like eclipse. Their eyes meet. In that instant, silent promise of final duel crosses void between. Energy swirls around Trandeep, condensing into miniature suns, orbiting him like guardians eternal. He whispers, transcendent sword path, limit break, summoning power beyond recorded celestial scriptures. Sword trembles, each vibration shattering fragments of reality, forging singularity of will unbreakable. Disciples feel shift in air, sensing teacher preparing ultimate strike, mixing sorrow and pride. He calls, live, even if I fall. This age belongs to your unchained spirits. They answer in thunderous unison, we will live free. Hearts glowing brighter than any sun. Trandeep smiles gently, rare softness amidst cosmic turmoil, accepting destiny's inevitable confrontation ahead. Clouds churn, horizon splits. Enemy's frontline crumbles, yet darkness replenishes like infinite tide. Light pillars burst from mountain core, amplifying his sword aura into planetary defense lattice. Black Emperor rises, cloak billowing, sword of void screaming with hunger for heroic blood. Old rival, he growls, your time ends. Kneel and witness eternity's shadow consuming everything. Trandeep lifts blade calmly. No anger, only unwavering resolve, free of celestial chains. Sparks of forgotten constellations swirl around him, echoing first dawn when cultivation seeds sprouted. Both armies pause momentarily, sensing titans about to clash beyond mortal comprehension or courage. Trandeep steps forward, ground blooming underfoot with radiant sigils resisting universal decay field. Sword arcs, drawing infinity's curve, embedding silent promise of liberation into fabric of cosmos. Disciples shield civilians, channeling combined aura, forming defensive dome shimmering like star-forged crystal. Black Emperor hurls spear of abyss, tearing sky, shattering defensive dome, roaring like thunder. Trandeep intercepts, crossing swords mid-air, shockwave flattening mountains, bending time's linear stream. Fragments of memories flash friends lost, victories gained, countless hours forging path beyond heaven. This is the last wall, he mutters, beyond lies freedom or nothing at all. He spins, releasing 9 successive slashes, each a galaxy shredding darkness into scattered embers. Black Emperor counters with vortex claws, devouring starlight, reshaping battlefield into spiraling labyrinth dimension. Trandeep plants sword tip into ground, summoning roots of cosmic tree to anchor. Energy stabilizes, giving disciples moment to regroup, reforge formation, breathe under chaotic pressure. Remember why you fight, he calls, voice echoing across countless dimensions interlaced by war. Their hearts ignite again, blades shimmering, each strike carrying future generations' unbroken dream. Enemy reinforcements charge, but disciples form living barrier, swords singing defiance of imposed fate. Trandeep leaps above vortex, channeling remaining force into single decisive strike preparing soon. He recalls the Freedom Stone's runes, aligning them with his sword's trembling luminous edge. Black Emperor grins, summoning abyss dragons, each exhaling darkness hotter than stellar core's fury. Sky rains meteors of corrupted ki, poisoning earth, burning rivers, cracking sacred mountain roots. Trandeep endures, storm, aura holding, though blood seeps from corner of determined mouth. He whispers inward mantra, knitting soul threads tighter, transcending pain, transforming wound into will. His blade shines, absorbing disciples' hope, weaving collective spirit into unstoppable celestial spear. The air hums with destiny's tension, like bowstring drawn before releasing world-shattering arrow. Now, he vows, ends this darkness, lunging forward faster than thought, slashing horizon open. Void cracks. Black Emperor staggers, yet laughs, reforming body from spiraling abyss fragments anew. Good, villain sneers. Show me freedom's edge. I will consume it, then rule forever. Trandeep twists blade, channeling hidden seal learned during silent centuries inside forbidden domain. Symbols flare, binding darkness, momentarily halting Emperor's regeneration, sparking disbelief across enemy ranks. Disciples cheer but quickly reform stance, knowing battle's climax still poised like thundercloud. Trandeep's aura expands, tearing apart labyrinth dimension, restoring glimpse of clear blue sky. Black Emperor roars, striking downward, unleashing beam of nothingness to erase mountain, world, memory. Trandeep counters upward, collision birthing lightstorm spanning continents, rewriting laws of cultivation. Earth shakes, stars flicker, all beings sense to Titan's rewriting script of existence. In that chaos, Trandeep glimpses path beyond victory or defeat, pure freedom's resonance. He smiles, accepts cost, pouring every remaining fragment of self into one ultimate strike. Sword descends, splitting heaven's dome, fusing runes of freedom, sealing abyss within radiant cage. Everything freezes, silence reigns. Outcome unknown, but Trandeep stands unbroken before collapsing void. Dawn breaks over shattered peaks, Trandeep stands bleeding, sword trembling, yet eyes remain fierce. Black winds fade into silence, HCCGN imprisoned within glowing cage forged by freedom blade energy. Cracks of darkness seal slowly, echoing across sky like collapsing mirrors, swallowing endless night. LCCIN runs toward battlefield, heart pounding, fearing loss yet sensing faint pulse of hope. Trandeep coughs blood, gripping hilt tighter, refusing collapse, breathing freedom into wounded lungs. Ground beneath trembles as remnants of demonic army scatter, sensing their master's defeat. Air filled with shimmering fragments of light, falling like silent snow across scorched earth. Disciples stare upward, hands clasped, whispering prayers for master's survival amid fading chaos. Freedom's sword glows unbearably bright, its blade vibrating like living creature mourning final strike. HCCGN screams inside cage, shadowy claws scraping but unable to pierce radiant barrier. Not yet finished, Trandeep mutters, channeling last reserves, weaving seals around shimmering prison. Memories flood back, of childhood training, endless nights under stars forging unbreakable resolve. Master's words echo, freedom's path burdens heavy hearts, wield it without chains or fear. Energy around him swirls, blending countless hopes of those he vowed to protect always. LCC, Ian reaches him, steadying trembling shoulders, whispering encouragement against roaring silence. Sky clears, revealing pale sun, casting golden threads across battlefield like celestial tapestry. Mountains once scorched now glisten with dew, signaling dawn of fragile peace after darkness. Disciples rush forward, forming protective ring around Master, shielding him from lingering threats. Trandeep lifts blade high, drawing circle of light sealing remaining rifts forever closed. Caged shadows implode silently, dissolving into harmless motes, drifting toward forgotten dimensions. Exhaustion crashes down, yet Trandeep's stance unbroken, spirit towering beyond mortal shell. LCC Yen's tears fall onto his hand, shimmering like gems, fusing with radiant aura. You won, she whispers, though voice trembles with disbelief of such monumental victory. No, he replies, only delayed. His gaze fixed upon trembling prison's core pulsing dark. He plants sword into ground, runes sprouting outward, forming massive protective barrier around realm. Disciples kneel simultaneously, feeling surge of power flowing through earth like sacred river. Freedom Key circulates, weaving their destinies together, awakening dormant potentials inside their hearts. Trandeep transfers fragments of his strength, granting each disciple seed of freedom path. Cries of gratitude echo, mixing with distant bells ringing as village below celebrates. Winds shift, carrying scent of spring blossoms despite lingering ash upon ground. Sky above reveals rainbow arcs, a sign realms realigning after cataclysmic collision of forces. LCCEN steadies him again, noticing silver hair fading into translucent strands of light. You're fading, she says softly, eyes wide with dawning comprehension of sacrifice. Not fading, he smiles faintly, merging with freedom. His voice a whisper of wind. Black crystal falls from shattered prison, humming ominously with remnant power of HCCGN. He picks it up, sensing chaos within but also faint seed of redemption. Disciples recoil at its aura, but he cradles it gently like fragile egg. Darkness deserves path home, he murmurs, else freedom incomplete. Words echo across silent field. Mountains resonate with vow, inscriptions appearing on stones chronicling epic battle forever. Sun climbs higher, washing battlefield in warmth, erasing last traces of nightmare. Village elders climb slopes carrying offerings, kneeling before hero whose blade saved their kin. Children gaze in awe at legendary swordsman, whispering myths even as truth stands nearby. Birds return to scorched trees, singing tentative songs of rebirth among charred branches. LCCIEN helps him stand, her arms trembling under his fading weight of power. We must go, she urges, fearing collapse, yet trusting unbroken fire within his soul. Disciples gather relics left behind, sealing artifacts from demons to prevent future misuse. Freedom banner raised atop mountain, cloth woven from energy of countless wills, united. Turn Dipe breathes deeply, eyes scanning horizon for unseen threats lurking beyond mortal sight. Guard this place, he orders softly, voice carrying across valley like rolling thunder. Yes, master, chorus answers, their resolve crystallizing under shared destiny of freedom's guardianship. He steps down slope slowly, each footfall resonating with liberation energy shaping earth. Black crystal pulses within his palm, alternating between shadow and flickering specks of light. It may awaken, warns LCCIEN, dangerous to carry such remnant power alone. Dangerous but necessary, he replies. Eyes reflecting universes, I will guide its transformation. Mountainside winds whip robes around him, turning hero into spectral figure walking between worlds. Villagers cheer, tears streaming, knowing history altered forever by this singular battle. Disciples form escort behind him, heads bowed, carrying torches ignited with freedom fire. Cranes circle overhead, wings painting white arcs across azure sky newly cleansed of darkness. A new dawn, LCCIEN whispers, clinging to his sleeve as if anchoring reality. A long road ahead, he answers, feeling weight of both legacy and redemption. Path down mountain lined with petals, falling from unseen trees, blooming after chaos ended. Disciples hum ancient chant, harmonizing with wind, forging new covenant of vigilance and hope. He senses distant stirrings of other realms, knowing enemies may rise from ashes again. Yet for now, peace blooms fragile and real, a testament to their combined will. Freedom's sword rests quietly upon his back, no longer trembling, yet glowing deep within. LCCIEN glances upward at sky, believing destiny still unfolding beyond their comprehension. Villagers offer food and water, their gratitude boundless, faces shining with newfound courage. Children run forward, placing handmade charms at his feet as blessings of protection. He kneels, touching each head gently, transmitting spark of courage into their hearts. Bells ring again, echoing across valley like celestial drums announcing birth of era. Black crystal whispers faintly, voices of fallen echoing desire for reconciliation, not annihilation. Turn Dipe closes eyes, steadying mind, guiding chaotic pulse toward balanced rhythm of harmony. LCCIEN watches nervously, sensing his aura flicker like candle threatened by unseen wind. Disciples step back respectfully, understanding master's silent communion with forces beyond mortal reach. If freedom real, he thinks, then even darkness deserves second chance at transformation. Crystal warms slightly, edges softening, inner storm calming beneath his unwavering intent. He smiles faintly, recognizing beginning of path he alone can walk for now. Mountain breeze carries scent of rain, promising cleansing for scars carved by war. Overhead clouds form dragon shapes, omen of future trials but also celestial protection. Freedom banner flutters strongly, cloth shimmering as if alive, singing silent, hymn of hope. He descends last step, entering valley where thousands wait, eyes fixed upon their savior. Murmurs spread, he lived, he won, the Dark Emperor sealed, waves of relief rising. LCCIEN stands beside him, embodying unbroken loyalty and quiet strength earned through trials. Disciples disperse to villages, spreading teachings of vigilance and unity to rebuild lands. Turn Dipe addresses crowd. Freedom requires guardianship, courage and compassion, not endless conquest. Words sink deep into hearts, sparking movement toward new culture beyond old rivalries. Torches lit, carried high by villagers, symbolizing rebirth of community under freedom's banner. Children sing improvised song about swordsman of dawn, defeating emperor of shadows forever. LCCIEN whispers, your legend begun, but he shakes head softly, rejecting such pedestal. Legends irrelevant, he says, only path forward matters. Voice steady like mountain roots. Night approaches slowly, sky painted crimson, shadows long but harmless now without dark master. Stars emerge, reflecting within crystal, hinting at uncharted realms calling for future journey. Disciples pitch tents nearby, vowing guard through night, forming living circle of trust. LCCI intends his wounds quietly, hands glowing with soft healing light, learned recently. He thanks her, eyes closing briefly, feeling weight lifted by companionship and devotion. Fire crackles, villagers sharing stories of survival, weaving community stronger than before. Crickets sing, blending with murmur of mountain streams reborn from melted ice above. Dipe gazes skyward, sensing threads of destiny weaving next challenge beyond horizon. He grips crystal and sword simultaneously, merging darkness and light under singular will. Tomorrow, we rebuild, he murmurs, but freedom's journey never ends, as dawn's first rays return. Dawn breaks over scorched mountains, Dipe stands tall, cloak whipping, holding the legendary Huang Kim. Survivors gather beneath him, eyes filled with reverence, fear, and hope for the new world. The battlefield still smolders, ashes drifting, symbols of the war that changed everything forever. Black clouds disperse slowly, revealing a sky once hidden by the HCCGN's power. Dipe's gaze sweeps the horizon, sensing traces of darkness lingering like silent echoes. LCCN approaches quietly, her quote NGC glinting under sunlight, words trembling on her lips. We have won, but the real rebuilding begins now, she murmurs, eyes fixed ahead. Dipe nods, gripping Huang Kim tighter, feeling its vibration answer unseen dangers. Plans form within his mind, seeds of a force beyond kingdoms, free and united. In a wooden hall atop the mountain, he names it the Freedom Guild. Runes carved into stones glow faintly, ancient power binding ideals with steel determination. Freedom demands discipline. His voice booms, echoing across the hall like rolling thunder. Young disciples kneel, listening, drawn by his aura stronger than legends ever described. Training begins at dawn, sword forms, breathing techniques, meditation for inner balance. LCCEIN teaches healing arts, merging energy flows with herbal knowledge to accelerate recovery. Days turn to weeks. Freedom Guild grows, whispers spreading across kingdoms and deserts. Dipe studies, a black crystal pulsing faintly, remnant of the fallen HCCGN. He dreams of a dark corridor, a weakened enemy whispering doubt and hope. You truly believe I can change? The voice echoes. He answers, I hope. News leaks about the crystal, sparking dissent among disciples fearing hidden danger. Heated debates flare within the guild, unity shaken by distrust and fear. LCCIN confronts him at night, moonlight slicing through her determined expression. We cannot hold this forever, it may awaken, she warns, trembling slightly. Freedom is not just the light, he replies, we must also face shadow. Despite turmoil, he holds fast, believing redemption possible even for former enemies. Meanwhile, kingdoms beyond the mountains grow wary, sending spies cloaked as emissaries. They speak honeyed words but carry steel eyes measuring the guild's potential threat. Dipe welcomes them politely, yet refuses to bend the guild to crowns. Freedom Guild protects all, belongs to none, he declares before banners of nations. Envoys return unsettled, whispering about a swordsman defying politics and history alike. Among disciples, one ambitious soul betrays trust, fleeing with fragments of sword lore. The news hits like thunder, shaking foundations of discipline and unity. Freedom demands responsibility, Dipe says, preparing to hunt the renegade himself. Huang Kim hums softly, as if eager for another confrontation with darkness. Patrols stretch across ravaged lands, searching for hidden cult remnants and dangers. During a patrol, they find an ancient gate carved with glowing runes. The portal throbs like a heartbeat, older than empires, older than known skies. LCCEN gasps, sensing power similar to HCCGN, yet deeper, infinite. This is the source, she whispers, the place he spoke of. Dipe places his hand on the gate, feeling echoing stars beyond. He withdraws, deciding, not yet. We are unprepared for what lies ahead. Back at the guild, he reinforces training, intensifying lessons on unity. Nights grow restless, black crystal pulsing, showing visions of chained worlds. He meditates under moonlight, focusing on balance between mercy and vigilance. Disciples whisper legends of their leader, half-man half-myth, forging freedom anew. Mountains echo with clash of swords, cries of discipline, and chants of resolve. Villages slowly rebuild under protection of roaming Freedom Guild warriors. Merchants begin to trust again, traveling through one's dangerous valleys without fear. Children play near guild banners, seeing swords not as terror but safety. Yet darkness stirs, unseen forces tug threads of fate around the black crystal. One night storms rage, winds carrying voices from beyond the sealed gate. Dipe wakes, heart racing, sensing an approaching test larger than any LCC. Ian watches him silently, recognizing the weight on his shoulders. If we cross that gate one day, she says, we may not return. Freedom is worth the risk, he answers, gripping Huang Kim with quiet fire. Training shifts toward unknown terrains, teaching disciples to fight without sight. Scholars decode fragments of the gate's runes, discovering warnings of cosmic predators. Beyond lies endless sky. Beyond lies chains unseen. The translation warns ominously. Dipe does not flinch. His path is clear, though peril thickens. He sends envoys to distant lands, inviting allies of mind and heart. The guild hall expands, wooden beams replaced with stone carved from holy peaks. Bells ring at dawn, summoning disciples to oath-taking under rising banners. We protect freedom, we protect all, they chant, voices shaking the valley. Dipe gazes from balcony, remembering his own lost mentors and battles. The black crystal dims momentarily, as if acknowledging his silent vow. Travelers bring stories of Freedom Guild, healing the broken, defending the weak. Songs spread in marketplaces about a swordsman who dared dream beyond kings. Yet in shadows, old cultists plot, seeking the crystal, craving their master's return. A spy captured at night reveals plans to breach the mountain stronghold. Defensive wards activated, luminous barriers circling the guild like celestial armor. Disciples take positions, prepared to defend not just walls but ideals. LCC Ian organizes medics, her quote, NGC, glowing with protective runes. Dipe sharpens Huang Kim, feeling its edge slice through dusk air. Storm clouds gather, war drums echo from unseen foothills. He addresses the guild. Freedom must be defended even in peace. Disciples respond with unified cry, blades raised under thunderous skies. The black crystal pulses violently, projecting image of chained HCCGN screaming. He's awakening, whispers LCC Ian, trembling despite her calm mask. Dipe steps forward, aura flaring. Then we face him as we are. Energy converges. Gates shudder, runes crackle with star-blue lightning. Time slows, winds howl like spirits around the mountain stronghold. In his heart, Dipe remembers every soul lost to tyranny. He recalls the vow, no one enslaved, no one forgotten. His stance lowers, blade parallel to ground, eyes fixed beyond the horizon. We are the shield and the path, he murmurs, breath steady. A glow rises from his disciples, their training manifesting as shared aura. Together, they form a circle, channeling energy into protective latticework. The gate's vibration eases, darkness retreating momentarily under their combined force. Rain begins, washing ashes from stone, symbols of renewal and rebirth. Black crystal quiets, but tension remains, like calm before greater storm. Guild resumes rebuilding, discipline hardened, hearts united stronger than before. LCC Ian smiles faintly, seeing children training with wooden swords of hope. Dipe surveys horizon, knowing destiny still waits across unknown sky. He writes a charter of freedom, blending philosophy, sword law, and mercy. Scroll sealed with guild emblem, sent to all kingdoms as declaration. Some kings bow, others scowl, but none can ignore rising tide. Night stars glitter, mirroring sparks in his unbroken resolve. Huang Kim rests beside him, whispering secrets of worlds beyond reach. Freedom is endless sky, he whispers. And we will fly. Dawn again over mountains. Freedom Guild stands ready for future storms and stars. Dipe wakes at dawn, dreams of the burning gateway hovering beyond stars again. His sword hums softly, echoing an otherworldly warning about the coming storm soon. LCCIN approaches quietly, sensing unease spreading like frost beneath their joined hands. You dreamed again, she whispers, voice trembling between worry and determined resolve. He nods slowly, eyes distant, describing symbols carved in flames across cosmic door. Morning wind carries scent of pine, yet weight of prophecy crushes both hearts. Temple bells echo across valley, summoning T-Du Min Council to urgent meeting. Hundreds gather inside the White Hall, faces flickering with fear and anticipation. Dipe steps forward, voice steady like steel, proclaiming hidden threat beyond. Freedom One is fragile, he warns. Unless we challenge darkness behind that gate. Murmurs ripple, disbelief mixes with curiosity, hearts caught between hope and fear. LCC Ian stands beside him, lending silent support and unwavering gaze of trust. Ancient banners sway overhead, carrying scent of old victories and forgotten defeats. We must prepare now, he says, or be swallowed by forces unseen. Some elders protest loudly, fearing reckless adventure will destroy new fragile peace. We already risked lives. One shouts, why invite another endless war again? Turn Dipe's eyes flash. True freedom means confronting danger, not hiding behind walls. Silence falls. The words strike deeper than sword edge across their lingering doubts. Night descends. Stars glimmer, like shattered glass above mountains and rivers. Alone in meditation, Turn Dipe channels cosmic energy into his loyal sword. The blade vibrates violently, projecting a shining path stretching beyond visible sky. Sparks scatter, forming outlines of stairway made from pure condensed sword light. LCCIN rushes outside, witnessing miracle rising above the sacred cliff. This is the path, she whispers, breath-catching as energy lifts her hair. Turn Dipe stands firm, silhouette framed by luminous pillars of ascending brilliance. Villagers below point upward, shouting prayers, believing gods descend to earth. The Kan Huang Kimbiite Theon gleams, each step carved from pure will. Beyond lies the answer, Turn Dipe murmurs, eyes fixed on infinite horizon. LCC, Ian grasps his arm, determined not to be left behind ever again. Where you go, I go, she vows, eyes blazing with unwavering courage. Stars flicker brighter as though acknowledging new challengers climbing heaven's stair. Inside council chamber, dissent grows. Elders whisper of rebellion against dangerous plan. Some plot secretly, fearing their leader's vision will doom all remaining strongholds. Loyal disciples stand guard, sensing treachery but awaiting leader's final command. Turn Dipe meets with allies, forging pacts with distant sects and hidden clans. Messengers fly across valleys, delivering scrolls marked with the sword beyond heaven. Preparation lasts weeks. Forging weapons, gathering supplies, teaching new formations. LCCIN trains, night and day, her aura blazing like moonlit fire. She perfects healing arts to protect comrades on dangerous unknown journey ahead. The young disciples whisper legends, dreaming of glory, terrified by unknown destiny. Storm clouds gather, unnatural lightning striking mountain peaks with crimson hue. Turn Dipe senses gateway pulse, feeling distant heartbeat echo inside his chest. He meditates, merging with cosmic river flowing through every star beyond. The sword reveals visions, monstrous guardians, labyrinths of flame, rivers of void. He sees himself standing before gate, blade raised, universe watching breathlessly still. Dawn of departure arrives, banners unfurled, thousands lining valley floor in silence. LCCIN addresses crowd, promising they fight for freedom of all realms. Tears glisten in eyes of disciples, knowing journey may cost them lives. Turn Dipe bows, thanking each for faith, courage, and unshakable loyalty. We climb today, he says, and carve destiny upon heaven's hidden stones. They march beneath swordlight path, steps echoing like thunder across mountains. Villagers chant blessings, scattering petals that swirl upward on glowing wind. First steps feel heavy, gravity bending under celestial force of gateway pull. Air thins, sky darkens. Stars align forming patterns echoing ancient prophecies. LCC, Ian steadies weaker disciples, her touch weaving courage into trembling hearts. Each step transforms their bodies, imbuing resilience beyond mortal comprehension. Glimpses of other worlds shimmer beside path, tempting with forbidden knowledge. Turn Dipe warns them, stay focused or be lost between dimensions forever. Wind howls, carrying whispers of beings older than any mountain or star. Lightning arcs along blade railing, revealing runes etched by forgotten gods. A shadow appears ahead, massive wings blotting constellations with dark presence. Disciples falter. Fear spreads like wildfire through ranks untested by cosmos. LCCIN raises staff, summoning light barrier to shield companions behind her. Turn Dipe leaps forward, sword blazing, challenging creature born from void. Clash shakes stairway. Sparks scatter into galaxies forming momentary newborn suns. Creature roars, retreating, leaving trail of black feathers dissolving into space. Path stabilizes, but everyone knows dangers ahead will only grow stronger. We continue, Turn Dipe commands, voice steady though his arm bleeds slightly. LCCIN binds wound swiftly, eyes never leaving shifting horizon above. Hours stretch, steps endless, yet determination hardens like tempered steel within. They pass floating ruins of an ancient palace, shattered by forgotten war. Strange murals glow faintly, depicting warriors climbing heaven before them. The disciples whisper prayers to those who perished seeking ultimate truth. Cosmic winds grow colder, each breath crystallizing into shards of light. Turn Dipe channels inner fire, igniting path ahead with renewed brilliance. LCCIEN glimpses gateway now larger, pulsing like enormous heartbeat across void. Colors impossible to name swirl around entrance, forming symbols of origin. He feels tug of destiny, heavier than mountain, sharper than blade. Soon, he murmurs, we confront the true masters behind everything. Behind them, stairway begins dissolving, forcing commitment to journey without return. Disciples exchange glances, fear and faith wrestling inside, trembling hearts. LCCIN sings ancient mantra, steadying minds like anchor against cosmic tide. Sword light intensifies, responding to their united focus and unspoken prayers. Shapes appear within stars, echoing guardians they will soon confront ahead. Turn Dipe steadies breathing, preparing for inevitable confrontation with unknown power. He recalls mentor's words, a sword is path, but heart decides direction. LCCIEN smiles faintly, despite chaos, finding strength in shared destiny. Together they step onto final segment, gateway towering like infinite mountain. Symbols flare, recognizing challenger, who wields blade carved from heaven's spine. Gravity vanishes. They float upward, tethered only by will and courage. Each disciple sees personal visions, illusions, testing loyalty and deepest fears. Turn Dipe cuts through his vision, seeing truth behind layers of deception. LCCIEN shatters illusion around group, pulling them back into shared reality. Gateway thunders, voice echoing across dimensions. Who dares ascend beyond stars? Turn Dipe raises sword, its light slicing darkness like dawn over abyss. We are freedom, he declares, we are will unbroken, path beyond chains. Energy surges, fusing stairway and blade, forming single radiant spear of light. Together they thrust forward, breaching threshold of cosmic portal with united cry. World dissolves into blinding brilliance, time and space bending like molten glass. They cross, stepping into unknown realm. Destiny unwritten beyond the burning gate. Turn Dipe stands before blazing cosmic gate, gripping sword, feeling pressure of infinite dimensions merging. LCCIEN raises staff beside him, sensing countless spirits whispering through shimmering energy of the portal. Disciples tremble yet follow, determined to cross threshold into unknown domain beyond mortal comprehension. Light from the gateway presses like mountains upon their souls, crushing fear and igniting courage. Turn Dipe recalls childhood training, wooden sword, hunger, nights under stars, forging indomitable will. He steadies breath, focusing essence into sword, weaving memory and power into one living blade. LCCIEN glimpses ancestors' shadows urging them forward, echoing never stop, never retreat again. Cold wind carries scent of nothingness, erasing time, place, and form beyond imagination. Turn Dipe warns companions. Every step is a test of mind. Lose focus and vanish. LCCE answers firmly. We've reached here. Darkness will not claim our spirits. Group advances. White light turns blue, then violet, altering every cell within their bodies. Disciples scream, rebirth cries, pain mixed with exhilaration as illusions peel away layer by layer. Ground disappears. They float amid rotating glowing shapes, shifting geometric riddles without orientation. First disciple slips into cube of green light, dissolving instantly, leaving echo of courage. Turn Dipe forms radiant circle of sword energy shielding group from consuming illusions. LCCIEN casts watery barrier, soft yet unbreakable, fusing magic with steel resolve. Geometric shapes speak through memories, dreams, fears, forcing each traveler to confront deepest self. Turn Dipe sees mother's tired smile, wooden sword, hunger nights, yet blade cuts illusions. Young disciple collapses, seeing father executed. LCCIEN calms mind, whispering illusion, not reality. Step by step they progress through dimensionless corridor, each breath spanning centuries of struggle. Shedding fear, ambition, ego, they become lighter, nearer essence of freedom beyond mortal frames. At center floats light core orb, surrounded by countless dark seeds orbiting in silence. This is true origin gate, beyond myths, beyond world's rules, toward pure infinity. Turn Dipe and LCCIEN exchange glance, understanding wordlessly the final destination's truth. Sword vibrates, forging cosmic key from hundreds shimmering streams of star-like energy threads. We move together, Turn Dipe declares. If we fail, at least true to ourselves. LCC Ian places hand atop sword. Disciples link shoulders, channeling unified intent. They surge, as one beam toward light core, hearts blazing brighter than surrounding cosmos. Contact with core unravels memories, consciousness fragments then reforms, stronger, transcendent new selves. Corridor of spiraling light unfolds beyond core, stretching like endless time-forged helix. Each step through corridor transforms scenery. Star oceans, bamboo forests, deserts of blood. Cities of glass shimmer then vanish, replaced by galaxies blooming like eternal flowers. Silence reigns except heartbeat and breath echoing through shifting infinite architectures. Suddenly cosmic laughter erupts from above, deeper than void, vaster than universe. Voice speaks, you think escape exists. There is no outside, only me. Form of colossal entity emerges, all faces combined, all voices blended, no boundaries. This is the one, sum of worlds consciousness, origin, and prison simultaneously entwined. Turn Dipe, grips sword, eyes unwavering. Then I'll cut a path through all. LCCEN raises staff. Disciples gather strength, no turning back from destiny ahead. Winds of raw existence swirl, trying to hurl them backward down endless corridor. Sword ignites with countless memories, pains and hopes of millions pressing within blade. One slash arcs upward, striking the one's luminous skin with defiant cosmic flare. Silent explosion ripples across reality, corridor trembling, light shifting into unknown spectrums. They feel themselves shredded then reassembled, existence tested by infinite force. Yet a crack appears upon the one, radiating purest white beyond all. There, whispers Turn Dipe the gap. Our chance to break cycle forever. LCCEI nods, calling everyone to combine every fragment of remaining strength. They unleash everything into the crack, merging magic, sword, will, and spirit flame. Crack widens. Blinding stream erupts, pulling them toward radiant breach between realities. Before vanishing, Turn Dipe glimpses behind. Path of sword beyond heaven dissolving. He smiles quietly, feeling triumph and calm acceptance of whatever lies ahead unseen. We've crossed halfway, he murmurs. The real sky waits beyond next threshold. Vortex engulfs them. Shredding forms into particles of thought, merging into luminous current. Their screams become songs, their fear becomes wings, soaring across impossible distances instantly. Stars collapse, reforming as bridges. Time folds, opening doorways never charted before. Turn Dipe senses, billions, watching, ancestors, spirits, strangers, all rooting for their ascent. LCC in channels last surge of faith, fusing with Turn Dipe's sword aura. Together, they carve spiral through void, guiding disciples safely inside rift of light. Corridor closes behind them. Only Silent Star remains marking journey's origin point. They emerge inside chamber of mirrors, reflecting infinite versions of themselves simultaneously. Each reflection whispers different destiny, tempting them to abandon quest for freedom. Turn Dipe lifts sword. Reflections shatter, leaving singular path of pure intention. Group follows tightly, weaving protective formation as reality flexes like breathing organism. Thunderless quake ripples through chamber. Fragments of forgotten languages swirl in luminous air. The one's voice returns faintly, warning them final veil approaches, beyond no return. Yet their resolve burns brighter than cosmic suns, forged from endless trials behind. Turn Dipe concentrates, forging sword-mind unity, blade becoming extension of timeless consciousness. LCC Ian chants, mantra, dissolving fear, opening heart to infinite compassion's shield. Disciples echo resonance, building tidal wave of combined intent toward unseen summit. Chamber elongates, turning into stairway of crystal notes ascending toward apex sphere. Steps resonate underfoot, each note unlocking buried strength, shedding last fragments of doubt. Turn Dipe senses, door ahead pulsing, threshold into dimension, beyond birth and death. Sword hums anticipation, cosmic wind swirls, forming dragons of light dancing upward. LCCEN smiles, eyes bright with determination, feeling universes align within her veins. Disciples chant silently, breathing unity, forming living constellation around their leader's aura. Door opens slowly revealing vortex of white and gold twisting around black heart. This is it. Turn Dipe breathes, stepping forward, blade raised like newborn sun. Gravity reverses. They fall upward, merging with spiraling radiance of ultimate gateway. Light compresses into single point, their bodies flatten into lines of vibrating code. Suddenly expansion returns, bursting them into wide hall of thunderous silence. Floor made of starlight, walls breathing auroras, ceiling absent, replaced by infinite abyss. Voices of forgotten gods murmur promises, threats, illusions, testing their unwavering core. Turn Dipe answers only with silence, sword steady, heart open to final truth. LCCIN sees vision of future children free from cycles, strengthening her stance. Disciples glimpse own victories beyond death, choosing faith over despair one last time. A pillar of pure number rises, encoding path toward new reality beyond simulation. They step inside pillar, dissolving again, merging with equations of cosmic birth. Sword of Turn Dipe glows brighter than supernova, cutting false patterns like paper. Patterns unravel, revealing skeletal lattice of void, supporting all perceived universes. Now, he shouts, strike together, uniting every soul into unstoppable frequency wave. Wave smashes lattice. Chains shatter, membranes tear, revealing raw creative fire beneath. From fire bursts, seed of new cosmos, waiting for free minds to shape. They leap through seed, carrying intent of liberation, forging dawn beyond containment. Infinite winds howl but cannot stop them. They are a trajectory of chosen destiny. Light swells, turning to ocean of colorless possibility, washing every particle clean. Turn Dipe floats center, sword dissolving into pure will beyond material form. LCCEIU becomes spiral of song, guiding disciples through last turbulence safely. They emerge into stillness, blank canvas of nothing, yet full of potential everything. Heartbeats echo, creating first sound of new domain, sculpting foundation of freedom. Together, they smile, knowing soared beyond heaven was never just path but becoming itself. Misty silver light enveloped the endless void where Trant Deep and his companions arrived silently. His sword dissolved into radiant energy, yet its essence pulsed within his palm eternally. Luke Yen stood calmly, soft blue aura circling her hands, embodying compassion and wisdom. Disciples whispered nervously, sensing this boundless space was beyond time, beyond earthly limitations. Trant Deep inhaled deeply, merging heartbeat with cosmic rhythm surrounding their fragile forms. He stepped forward. Each footfall painted new terrain upon the blank white expanse. Trees sprouted instantly, shimmering emerald leaves responding to his mere imagination's impulse. He pictured oceans. Endless blue waves rolled outward under a newborn sun. Luke Yen smiled faintly, recognizing his ascension into the realm of creation. I am only the last traveler upon this long bridge, Trant Deep murmured. Disciples bowed low, humbled by his refusal of personal glory or power. The space trembled as ancient consciousness awakened from within the white field. A deep voice resonated, questioning his understanding of creation and destruction united. A mirror emerged, reflecting a darker Tran, deep with cosmic shadow eyes. Face yourself, the echo declared, stepping forth with blades of void energy. Disciples recoiled in fear, gripping each other's arms for comfort and strength. Luke Yen's aura shifted from soft to protective blue, shielding trembling followers. Trant Deep stood tall, no sword in hand, only steady breathing inward. Shadow Self lunged forward, striking with slashes capable of tearing reality apart. Each blow dissolved like smoke upon touching his calm radiant chest. I no longer fight you, Trant Deep whispered, I accept you wholly. Light flared, merging both selves into a single balanced being. The white space exploded into a sky of stars, vibrant and infinite. Disciples gasped, tears streaming, witnessing true transcendence beyond mortal struggle. Luke Yen whispered softly, he surpassed heaven with the sword of heart. Trant Deep extended hands toward his companions, sharing the luminous resonance. Their energies fused, forming a sun-like sphere pulsing with collective hope. Letters of energy spelled path of the sword, beyond heaven, origin. Now we choose, he said. Return to old world or forge anew. Create compassion, Luke Yen replied. Let every soul be free forever. Disciples nodded, voices trembling with anticipation for a just reality. Trant Deep raised arms. Light cascaded outward, sculpting mountains and valleys. Rivers carved themselves, shimmering silver, winding across emerald plains of dawn. Floating cities appeared, surrounded by forests breathing gentle mist upward. Nature and humanity merged, no separation between strength and kindness anymore. Every being gained freedom to cultivate their own chosen path. Luke Yen gazed softly, wondering if this new world would endure. Nothing lasts forever, he answered, but will renew with balanced hearts. Together they watched life bloom across newborn landscapes under cosmic winds. Songs of liberated souls echoed through mountains like crystal bells. The first temple formed, honoring sacrifice of those who perished. Tran Deep walked among seedlings, blessing each sprout with guiding energy. Disciples scattered, planting seeds of light in valleys and hills. Creatures of new shapes emerged, gentle yet powerful, embracing sunlight. No war, no hierarchy, only learning, sharing, and discovery. By twilight, lakes mirrored skies, full of unfamiliar constellations. Tran Deep recalled childhood nights, wooden sword striking lonely posts. He whispered gratitude to every wound that shaped his journey. Luke Yen sat beside him, eyes reflecting endless horizons. "Do you remember our first meeting?" she asked softly. "Yes," he smiled, "when doubt stood between us like a wall." Both laughed, echoes drifting across shimmering water surfaces. A star streaked overhead, trailing light into uncharted darkness. "Universe still holds countless mysteries," Tran Deep murmured quietly. "Now we can explore without chains," Luke Yen replied warmly. He grasped the last spark of his sword heart, feeling infinite pages unwritten. Morning rose on the new world with golden whispering winds. Tran Deep summoned everyone to the Hill of Light. "Power protects, never dominates," he told the gathered disciples firmly. "I am no master now, only a pathfinder showing direction." Disciples responded in unison, voices steady with devotion and freedom. Days unfolded peacefully, rivers swelling, forests deepening, creatures singing. People discovered talents, cultivating without fear or hidden secrets. No rigid ranks remained. Only personal growth and mutual respect thrived. Tran Deep visited the Temple of Light honoring fallen warriors. He placed incense, sensing smiling spirits blessing his path forward. Afternoon sun danced upon new cities, floating in gentle skies. Luke Yen approached, asking softly, "What will you do next?" "Continue practicing Heartsword, for path never truly ends," he replied. "Then I will walk beside you," she answered without hesitation. They exchanged a silent smile, needing no further words. Night descended, silver moon gliding above a tranquil horizon. Tran Deep climbed a high cliff, gazing over shimmering plains. He lifted the sword heart spark, igniting like a distant star. Path Beyond Heaven was no title but the essence within. Wind carried disciples' laughter across valleys and shining waters. They built schools teaching balance, kindness, and resilience of spirit. Gardens bloomed endlessly, blending starlight into their fragrant petals. Tran Deep meditated under a cosmic tree radiating soft blue. He felt universe breathing through him, expanding like waves of sound. Disciples forged new arts, blending sword practice with healing in song. No weapon raised in anger, only as dance with elements. Luke Yen nurtured a sanctuary where compassion taught young souls. Children chased light doves across luminous grass fields under twin suns. Tran Deep recorded his journey as lessons for generations unborn. The manuscript glowed, living script adjusting to each reader's heart. By dawn, entire sky pulsed with aurora shaped like swords. He walked riverside, sensing every droplet whispering cosmic gratitude. A gentle rain fell, silver and warm, blessing fertile ground. Disciples chanted songs weaving unity through newborn culture's heart. Luke Yen crafted crystal bridges linking floating sanctuaries above clouds. Tran Deep smiled, watching freedom unfold without chains or fear. He released last remnants of old suffering into distant void. Mountains rose, singing ancient harmonies echoing across dimensions. Disciples mastered silence, hearing stars' hidden wisdom at night. Tran Deep's aura blended with wind, nearly invisible, yet everywhere. He reaffirmed vow, sword heart only to guide, never to rule. Luke Yen stood beside, hand in hand, both gazing outward. Together they envisioned future generations expanding into boundless cosmic seas. Under new starlit sky, Tran Deep whispered, "Beyond heaven, the path of heart continues forever." Tran Deep enters the swirling void of infinity, feeling every boundary between worlds dissolve instantly. Shadows and light weave together, forming a tunnel that stretches beyond time, beckoning him deeper forward. Luke Yen watches helplessly from the sacred plaza, her eyes reflecting worry and unspoken prayers. The portal spins wider, humming with cosmic resonance, promising both enlightenment and unimaginable dangers inside. Tran Deep takes a final breath of his world before stepping into the formless unknown beyond. Around him, reality liquefies into shimmering waves of concepts, colors, memories, and unborn possibilities merging. Voices without language echo, Enter the primordial sea and forge your own path beyond heaven. His physical form dissolves into radiant threads of intention. Traveling across currents of endless creation fields, a vast shadow rises before him, formed from his fears, doubts, and past regrets combined deeply. The entity whispers, "Abandon all weapons, build your own heaven from the purity of mind." Tran Deep exhales slowly, feeling his training fade, relying only on inner clarity and boundless calm. With closed eyes, he draws an invisible sword of intent, pure and weightless beyond all form. The shadow lunges, its body a storm of claws, echoing every failure he once endured painfully. He moves gracefully, guiding the intent sword into the heart of darkness, splitting illusions completely apart. Light erupts without sound, cascading into infinite shards that swirl like newborn stars in darkness. Each shard sings a note of creation, weaving melodies of potential, rebirth, and luminous freedom. The void reshapes into a cosmic garden, rivers of light flowing where gravity and time dissolve entirely. Tran Deep stands centered, his mind expanding across galaxies, sensing the pulse of new laws. He understands, to surpass heaven is to become a sky for others, a shelter and horizon. A droplet of radiant essence condenses into his palm, holding infinity's wisdom and unshaped energy. The portal back to his world appears, shimmering like a mirror of silver winds swirling gently. He steps through carrying the droplet, his heart steady, aware of responsibilities beyond measure now. Luke Yen sees a meteor of light descending, transforming into Tran Deep before the crowd awestruck. The droplet rises, spreading luminous threads over the entire world, linking minds and hearts together softly. Every living being feels a new clarity, a subtle awakening opening their thoughts to higher truth. Tran Deep announces the end of hierarchy. No master, no disciple, only companions along the path. The crowd murmurs in wonder, sensing a shift deeper than power, a genuine freedom within all. Luke Yen steps forward, tears shining. "You returned, transformed. Yet still our guiding presence forever." He smiles gently. "I returned, not as ruler, but as seed-bearer of infinity's dawn." A new council forms, built on dialogue, shared vision, and balanced voices, rejecting absolute authority entirely. Tran Deep plants the intense sword in the plaza. It blossoms into a tree of light. Roots pierce the planet's core, branches reach into the void, binding heaven and earth seamlessly eternal. The people gather beneath, feeling warm radiance flow into their veins like gentle flowing streams. At night, Tran Deep climbs the highest peak, gazing upon stars now echoing his new galaxy. He whispers, "I am no longer surpassing heaven, I have become the sky itself." The wind carries ancestral voices, mentors lost long ago, blessing his path beyond mortal comprehension. Dawn breaks, golden rays mingling with the tree's light, bathing the world in shimmering peace. Luke Yen appears beside him, eyes reflecting the newborn horizon, holding a quiet strength within. Tran Deep explains the cosmic droplet's power, its ability to awaken wisdom without coercion or control. Citizens celebrate, building communities guided by mutual respect, creativity, and collective guardianship of freedom. Music rises from unseen choirs, echoing cosmic harmonies learned from the fragments of infinity's heart. Children dream of stars while awake, sensing they can shape reality through intent and compassion, always. The old temples transform into learning halls, places of dialogue rather than worship or blind obedience. Tran Deep teaches subtle arts of inner vision, empowering each soul to sculpt its own destiny. Luke Yen becomes steward of the world, balancing care with open-ended exploration beyond borders defined. Together, they guide without ruling, embodying living examples of freedom's strength and communal growth. The tree of light pulses, sending seeds into space, birthing satellites of consciousness circling the planet. Each seed glows, connecting distant minds, weaving a tapestry of unity across cosmic distances entirely. Tran Deep meditates within the tree's core, conversing silently with newborn stars beyond known horizons. He sees pathways where future travelers will step into infinity without fear, carrying shared wisdom forward. Night skies reveal new constellations shaped by collective dreams, shimmering as living stories across heavens. Farmers plant crops infused with cosmic dew, growing food that nurtures both body and subtle spirit. Artists paint galaxies on city walls, echoing Tran Deep's journey beyond the known thresholds of existence. Scientists explore the tree's roots, discovering energy flows defying old physics, hinting at deeper truths. Tran Deep walks among them unnoticed, content watching a civilization blossom without centralized power, always. Luke Yen organizes festivals celebrating each person's inner journey rather than victories of conquest or control. Children ask Tran Deep about infinity. He answers with stories, guiding them to find their own meaning. The people rename their world Open Sky, reflecting the boundless horizon gifted by the journey's culmination. Tran Deep places the cosmic droplet at the planet's heart, ensuring balanced evolution through ages eternal. Waves of harmony ripple outward, stabilizing climates, healing wounds, and cleansing old residues of conflict. Above, the newborn galaxy glows, mirroring the world below, a living bridge between matter and mind. Tran Deep crafts new techniques, blending sword intent and thought waves, tools for self-discovery, not war. Students practice under the tree's branches, weaving light with motion, shaping inner cosmos through dance. Luke Yen whispers, "We have become gardeners of infinity, nurturing seeds across endless possibilities now." He replies softly, "Together we hold the dawn, but each must walk their own path still." Pilgrims arrive from neighboring realms, drawn by the resonance of freedom, seeking knowledge beyond heaven. Tran Deep welcomes them openly, offering guidance without hierarchy, sharing infinity's seed with willing hearts. The planet's sky expands, revealing hidden corridors of light connecting dimensions, maps of future journeys. Astral ships blossom from collective dreams, exploring without colonizing, learning without exploiting distant worlds deeply. Tran Deep meditates at dawn, feeling tides of multiverse pass through his veins like gentle currents. He envisions future generations surpassing even his understanding, crafting realities of compassion and artistry. Luke Yen establishes a council of travelers, ensuring shared ethics guide expansions beyond known stars. Together, they draft living charters, adaptable, grounded in experience and reflection, not rigid doctrine. Music of spheres fills the atmosphere, turning everyday life into a symphony of evolving consciousness. Tran Deep smiles at children sparring with light swords, teaching them patience, humility, and empathy always. Farmers sing cosmic lullabies to crops, infusing them with vibrational patterns from infinity's droplet directly. The Tree of Light bears crystalline fruit holding holographic libraries of universal knowledge for all. Citizens gather nightly to share visions, weaving communal narratives and interstellar plans for exploration. Tran Deep sees his reflection in the sky. Not a man, but a bridge of worlds. He bows to the horizon, honoring all teachers, adversaries, and companions who shaped his path. A gentle storm of luminous rain falls, blessing the land with energies of continual renewal everywhere. Children dance under it, absorbing sparks of cosmic memory, laughing at newfound dreams glowing inside. Luke Yen watches them, feeling gratitude that surpasses language, a unity beyond any single lifetime. Tran Deep engraves a circle in the plaza, symbol of no beginning, no end, only flow. Travelers from infinity leave gifts of insight, sharing fresh perspectives, expanding collective creativity and understanding. The world learns to see beyond opposites, weaving contradictions into harmony instead of conflict always. Tran Deep stands at the mountain peak again, sensing infinity alive within every living heartbeat below. He releases his sword intent completely, merging with the tree's pulse, a steady rhythm of being. The galaxy above brightens, answering his silent call, aligning countless stars in a spiral of light. Luke Yen places her hand over his, a silent vow to steward this gift forever. Together they watch sunrise, a golden arc bridging planet and cosmos, echoing their unified journey so far. Citizens awaken, sensing subtle shifts, their dreams richer, their actions calmer, their visions clearer now. Tran Deep tells them, "Do not worship me. Worship the vastness inside yourselves and beyond." They bow not in submission but in gratitude, acknowledging their shared path toward limitless discovery, always. Artists carve monuments of light, not of stone, shifting forms daily to reflect living truth. Children write cosmic poems in the air, words shimmering then dissolving into auroras across the sky. Luke Yen records everything in a living archive, a breathing history accessible through thought alone. Tran Deep sees the next threshold opening beyond infinity, smiling at the endless journey ahead, truly. He steps into the plaza, blending with the crowd, a traveler among travelers on the path. The Tree of Light hums softly, promising each soul that infinity resides within their own heart. Tran Deep stands beneath the cosmic tree, sensing the final sky calling his soul. Luke Yen approaches quietly, eyes trembling with unspoken worries about his next journey. He gazes upward, stars reflecting countless memories of their shared battles and dreams. She takes his hand tightly, whispering her hope for his safe return again. The cosmic wind rises, carrying fragments of forgotten chants and ancient prophecies. Turn Dipe breathes deeply, feeling his power dissolve into pure intent beyond form. The mountain peak glows as a silver portal forms under his steady footsteps. Around them, the air trembles, echoing his heartbeat like a drum of destiny. He places his palm upon the radiant arc, opening the final gateway ahead. Memories surge back. Childhood, training, endless duels, victories, and soft smiles fading. His armor dissolves, sword evaporates, leaving only his true self standing firm. Luke Ein cries softly, sensing the bond stretching yet never truly breaking apart. He steps into the portal, swallowed by a spiral of shifting white light. Silence engulfs him, no up or down, only endless bright voids surrounding. A voice without shape declares his deeds, questioning his readiness to dissolve completely. He recalls the promise to protect freedom, holding that seed within his heart. Layers of memory peel away, falling like leaves into timeless stillness. His name fades, his titles vanish, leaving only a pulse of intent. The white expanse births a small seed swirling galaxies within its core. This seed represents the origin of everything, a choice between rebirth and return. He feels Luke Yen's echo far behind, a faint warmth calling softly. The voice offers freedom or mortality, urging a decision shaping entire existence. He smiles, touching the seed, infusing it with his will to protect. The void cracks like glass, light spilling into uncharted universes ahead. Stars ignite, rivers of cosmic dust flow outward from his merging soul. New worlds bloom, mountains rise, oceans shimmer under newborn suns. He realizes he has no body, becoming a stream of radiant consciousness. Yet deep inside, Luke Yen's memory flickers, a beacon anchoring his compassion. His whisper crosses dimensions, reaching the old world as gentle wind. I am not gone. I am the sky, embracing every living breath, he says. In open sky, Luke Ein awakens, feeling new patterns weaving across heavens. Citizens look upward, sensing unity and freedom flowing through invisible threads. Trees glow softly, animals pause, recognizing a familiar presence beyond vision. She closes her eyes, hearing his message inside her trembling heartbeat. A new dawn rises, painting the horizon with unearthly shimmering colors. Temples crumble as old laws dissolve under the new sky's grace. Scholars write prophecies of a boundless realm guided by invisible kindness. Children laugh, feeling no fear of divine punishment or endless war. Luke Einen begins her role as bridge between two expanding realities. She steps into a beam of light, traveling through the woven pathways. In the radiant ocean, she glimpses Turn Dipe's silhouette smiling warmly. His form is light, yet his gaze remains deeply human and kind. They speak without words, exchanging memories like flowing water between hearts. He reassures her, the road is open, it will never close again. She promises to teach future generations about his journey and choice. A cosmic seed blossoms, sprouting countless gateways across dimensions. Beings from unknown worlds sense the signal, moving toward newfound freedom. Old deities tremble as their thrones dissolve into streams of soft light. Turn Dipe merges deeper, becoming the environment rather than a singular entity. Luke Ein returns, carrying knowledge, teaching how to traverse the shimmering pathways. The open sky expands, integrating fragments of the newborn universe gracefully. People awaken abilities, discovering connections between thoughts and distant stars. Cities rise using light as material, powered by shared intention, not force. Warriors lay down swords, embracing luminous practices of balance and creation. The Seonh grows taller, anchoring the bridge between both realms. Festivals celebrate the moment Turn Dipe crossed the final threshold courageously. Dreams carry visions of him walking through galaxies with endless patience. In white space, he watches new species evolving kindness as natural instinct. He crafts no laws, only conditions, allowing each life to find rhythm. Stars hum softly, resonating his once mortal heartbeat across eternity. Luke Ein feels empowered, speaking to councils with wisdom from radiant streams. She encourages them to see themselves as co-creators, not mere followers. Artists paint skies filled with luminous swords turning into blossoms. He laughs through wind, invisible yet undeniably present in every note. Children call his name in play, feeling safe under infinite skies. The old mountains split, revealing hidden springs of shimmering liquid essence. Scientists measure new forces beyond gravity. Calling them threads of intent, Luke names the expanded domain horizon without end, honoring his choice. He spreads his essence evenly, never overshadowing, always supporting silently. Entire civilizations migrate freely between the intertwined cosmic fields. The seed's pulse creates music, echoing across countless hearts simultaneously. Luke visits temples of memory, archiving his story as living code. She feels his smile when she plants new trees beside Say, and on starborn beings appear, offering friendship without conquest or hierarchy. Together they weave cultures founded on empathy and shared creation. Turn deep guides storms into gentle rains, nourishing forming continents. His whisper awakens hidden potential in sleeping minds everywhere. He cherishes the idea of being surpassed by future generations someday. Luke leads pilgrimages through light corridors, teaching self-discovery. Artists sculpt monuments of pure energy depicting his final transcendence. New languages form, carrying concepts of freedom beyond previous imagination. Dancers perform under auroras representing his journey past all limits. Farmers feel soil vibrate with cosmic rhythms, nourishing crops abundantly. He becomes the pause between heartbeats, the silence before creation's roar. Luke whispers nightly, thanking him for every new dawn's gift. Scholars debate whether he is God or doorway, yet all feel grateful. Children dream of flying without wings, across rivers of stars, joyfully. Old wounds heal spontaneously under harmonized fields of radiant energy. Artists compose symphonies using stellar pulses as natural instruments. His presence dissolves borders, turning nations into interconnected communities. Luke creates the School of Horizon to train future bridge builders. She teaches that true power is surrendering ego, embracing shared intention. Travelers cross galaxies guided by luminous compasses born from his seed. Priests abandon altars, becoming mentors in creativity and compassion. Time flows differently, seasons blending with cosmic tides seamlessly. He celebrates silently when life blossoms in forms beyond his imagining. The people carve his symbol, a sword dissolving into infinite rays. Luke sees visions of him laughing among children in dreams. Together they redefine destiny as open horizon, not fixed road. Under endless starlight, his essence whispers, keep creating, keep surpassing, keep walking beyond skies.